guys, welcome to this series in mobile development course. Um, I am the practical guy. I'll be taking you on software development, and in this course, would be looking at mobile development in particular, Android mobile development. Yeah. And in this first series or this first slides, I'll be introducing you to the basics, the topics or things we'll be looking at, which the tools we'll be needing in order to start developing mobile apps, the basic setups, and guidelines on how to go about this course. So let's jump in without wasting time. So on this first slide, we're going to have a look at the overview of what we'll be learning. And the first here, as you can see, is what is programming and the concepts involved in programming. Concepts such as variables, conditional statements, loops, class or classes. Then would look at what is mobile app development. Basically, we'll be talking about the various platforms involved. Platforms here refer to whether you're developing for an Android device or you're developing for an iOS device. That's the Apple phone. Yeah. Then we'll talk about the tools needed as well. For this course, so the basic tools you need will be a laptop. Yeah, a laptop, and you need Java. That's a Java runtime environment, which also has the JDK, which is the Java Development Kit. You also need a code editor. A code editor is basically what you write your code on or where you write your code. And for this course, we'll be using the Android Studio. And then you need an Android phone or an emulator. If you don't have an Android device, that's fine. You can, I'll teach you or take you on how to, set up an emulator. What an emulator is more like an Android phone on your laptop, so you can test the app there. This is for those who don't have a real Android device. And then I'll take you on what is called the server client concepts. And what this means is, how you do communication from the application that you're building onto the server and then get response. Don't worry about it. This is basically the networking phase. And then the next one would be motivation and insights on how to go about this course. Okay, so let's go into what is programming. As you can see on this slide, it says programming is the act of creating, okay, a set of instructions, which is code. So what this basically means is the codes you write or the instruction. You see, programming is just instructions that you give to the computer, right? And you tell the computer how to, go about these instructions, what to do. So I want you to have a look at these as, you having a manual on how to, let's say, drive a car or operate a certain machine. Yeah, so programs or codes. Programming is basically you issuing out instructions to your computer, and then when your computer sees these instructions, the computer knows what to do with them. Okay. For instance, those of you who use WhatsApp, I'm sure you must have seen WhatsApp. When you click on a button or you click on a chat, what happens? It takes you to a person's chat screen where you can now start typing hello, hi. These are basically instructions which have been written in code or in the programs to be able to function the way they function. Okay, don't worry about it if you don't understand. You're going to see everything in action. Okay, and then the computer here we refer to as is well, in this case we're talking about our mobile device. Okay, the mobile device. Some people also write programs for various web applications. These are also programs. Okay, when you click on a button, when you navigate to www.facebook.com, you click on follow a friend or send a friend request on a button, and an instruction runs behind the scenes, which you do not see. Now, these instructions are codes, okay? Now, programming can be done using a variety of computer programming languages, okay? In this tutorial, or this course, sorry, would be using Java to be precise, okay? We'll be using Java, yeah. But I'm thinking of also making another course on the Kotlin programming language, okay, which is also used to build, mobile apps, Android mobile apps. Kotlin is more like an updated version of Java, okay, but not to worry, we will be using Java in this course. So we have a variety of programming languages. We have JavaScript. I'm sure most of you must have heard about these languages, JavaScript. We have Python. Let me also point this out here now that I'm remembering it. JavaScript is not the same thing as Java, okay? They are two different programming languages. I know a lot of you get confused when you hear JavaScript and then Java. You think they are the same thing. No, they are not the same thing, okay? So just bear that in mind. JavaScript is different from Java. So you have JavaScript, you have Python, you have C++, you have PHP and Kotlin. Okay, so these are languages, that we, use to write software programs. Picture these languages as how you have different languages in real world scenario, okay? Yeah, you might have someone who speaks English, someone speaks Spanish, you know. So these are languages in terms of software development, okay? So we'll move on to the next slide. By the way, the goal of this course is, to minimize less talk and then do more of practical. Okay, so as you can see on this slide, this is a sample Java program. Okay, this is a sample Java program. This is a code. Okay, and these are instructions, and this is a class. Okay, don't worry about it. I just want you to have a look, have a feel of what a program or a code looks like. Okay, I'll be taking you through all this. Okay, yeah, so we're moving to the next one, which is what concepts are we going to be looking at? In order for you to be able to take this course, I'll need you guys to, have an idea of certain concepts. Okay, and in software development, irrespective of what language you're using, yeah, so irrespective of which language you're using, you're still going to face, or come across same concepts, universal concepts like variable. Okay, so what is a variable, guys? A variable, like you can see here, means a piece of memory, okay, that can store data. Okay, you could name the data, the variable anything. You could call it name, you could call it color, you could call it an amount, you could even call it test score, or test score, exam score, okay, social security number, BVN, account number, phone number. Yeah, so for every program that you write in software development, you always come across a way to store information. Okay, so let me give you an instance. Take, for instance, you walk up to the bank, or you slide in your ATM into the ATM machine, and then there is a program that runs behind the scenes. You do not see this program, okay? I can guarantee you that in that program, you have a variable that stores your name, because it reads details from your card, it stores your account number, and that's how it's able to identify who you are and the amount you have in your account, and how to deduct make the transactions on that account. So I just want you to picture a variable as a piece of, container or a memory, as it says here. Okay. A variable can also have a data type, which depicts the kind of data that that particular variable can store. So picture a variable as a container, okay? A container, let's say a container that has a name, let's say chocolates, okay? Let's say white chocolates, okay? So you have a container, okay? A container, and you've labeled it white chocolates. Okay, white chocolates. This is meaning that container would only contain white chocolates. Okay, it's going to contain white chocolates. I don't want to go into so much theory. By the time we start implementing things, you see things for yourself. So example of Java variable below could be, you see, private string, okay, name. Now a string is just uh, a string is just a piece of characters, string like characters. Okay, so you have the T, H, E, grouped characters together. In this case, we have a variable called name, which stores the actual name, which is the practical guy. Okay, we could also have a variable called age. Okay, now the type of value that this variable stores is called an int. Okay, this means integer. Integer. Most of you, know your basic maths, you know what an integer is. Okay, and on the name variable, okay, the type of variable it stores is it's called a string. Okay, so we'll have different variable types. We'll come to that as we go along this program, okay, or this course. So I've shown you two variable types, okay, in Java here. We have the string and we have the int. You use a string when you want to store a character, a piece of characters, okay? A character could just be identified as one alphabet here. You see the T, you see the H, you see the E. Now, when you group these things, they are called characters, okay? So string, all right? You might not get everything here, and I can guarantee you there's nothing to worry about. Once we start programming or writing code, you get a hang of everything. Okay, so we're moving to the next slide, and still on variables. Yeah, so still on variables. So still on programming concepts. Sorry. So we have another concept called conditionals. Conditionals, or you call them conditional statements. Okay. Now these are statements which let your code or program make a particular decision based on a particular condition. Okay, so let me give you an example here. So in Java, we could write a program that says that if the name or if the age of the person here is 15, say hello, is a condition. Okay, if the name of the person who has, remember the example I gave you with the ATM. So imagine you walking into an ATM, and then let's assume this ATM knows your age, and it checks. If the age of this person is 15, say hello. Else, say hi. So if your age is 15, the computer program is going to say hello. But if your age is not 15, either lesser or higher than 15 years, it's going to say hi. Okay, this is just a basic example. I want you guys to understand. You're going to see all of this in action. So conditionals, okay? There are different types of conditional statements in Java. Example, you have the if statement. Okay, you have the else statement, you have the else if statement, and then you have the switch statement. Okay, so I'll be taking you through all of this in the actual code so that you understand. So as you can see, this is a sample if statement. Okay, this is a sample if statement. Okay, I wouldn't bother going through what this code does, because we are still going to meet something similar in the application that we are going to be building. Okay, so nothing to worry about. This is just to get you familiar with most of these concepts. So if statement, as you can see, this is how you write an if statement. You write the if word, and then you have an opening brackets and then a closing bracket. Now, in between these brackets is where you write the condition. Okay, so you remember the if condition I told you about the age in the ATM example? So if we were to write that here, we'll say if age, that's the variable age, is equal to 15. Okay, it's if the person is 15 years, print hello, and then we can write the else here. Okay, this is just a basic example I want to show so that you guys start getting familiar, have a basic understanding of what these conditionals are. And now you have an else if statement. This is more like an add-on to this example I gave you here. You see, this doesn't have an else statement. This is just an if statement. But in the next one, we have the else statement. So say if the person's age is 15, print out hello, okay? Else print out hi, okay? So this is where you write your condition here, okay? This is where you write the condition, okay? Don't worry about it. This is just a basic example, and this example is coming from a live or a sample Android application that was built, okay? So like I told you, the goal of this tutorial is to limit, you know, talks and more like, go do the practical, all right, as in build out stuffs, okay? Yeah, because we do not want to, you know, get you so get the whole course so boring. So would actually want to, bring in the actual knowledge, which is how to build stuff. So we want you to get your hands dirty, okay? And then we have a loop. So a loop is basically what this does is like this piece of code here, okay? This piece of code in between these curly braces, these things are called curly braces, okay? It's going to evaluate until this condition here is satisfied, okay? Until this condition here is satisfied. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. I'm going to show you everything. You're going to understand everything. I know this might look overwhelming, but this is just a basic for loop from a sample program that was written, okay? Don't worry about all this. We'll show you everything, okay? And then we have the class concept. Do you remember the first code I showed you? You see the keyword class? Okay. So what is a class? Okay, what is a class? A class is a blueprint that tends to model real world objects. Okay. Yeah. So a class is a blueprint. Now, I want you to picture this as I don't know if most of you have seen the blueprint of a house, which is used by an architect. Okay. Yeah. So the house plan. Okay. So I want to picture a class as that. Okay. Now, when we say real world objects, in this example, an Infinix mobile phone has been used as a class, in the class name. What this means is that you can, you know, write a class, okay, to define everything about an Infinix mobile phone. Now, this could include the model number. This could include the color of the phone. This could include if it has a high memory or not, if it has a memory card or not. Okay, this could also include what country the phone was brought in from. Okay, so you see, a class, what a class does is that it defines the real world object. Okay, that's why we call it a blueprint. Okay, it defines the real world object. So I want to picture an Infinix phone or an Infinix or even an iPhone, maybe iPhone 6. Okay, so if we were to write this class to be an iPhone 6 class, it would be public class iPhone 6. Now we can start defining, let's say, private string name. Okay, remember the string example I gave to you guys? Do you remember? Do you remember the string example I gave to you guys? Let me go back to that slide. Let me come back to the slide so that you guys would get a better picture of what I'm talking about. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah, so you remember how to define a variable, okay? Okay, remember how to define a variable. All right, so if we are to write this class, we'll define a variable called name. We'll define a variable called, an int variable called memory, maybe 236 gig or whatever, 236. Okay, we can even make it a string. We can call it 236 private string memory, and then we'll call it 236 gig. we can call it Infinix memory 236 gig. Okay, like I will always tell you, don't worry about this. Once you start writing the programs, you understand it. Okay, but I just want you to know that there is a concept called class. And what is a class? A class is a blueprint, okay, that tends to model real world objects. A real world object could be a car, it could even be a house, it could even be your t-shirt, okay, it could even be your dad or your mom or your cousin, okay, it could even be the school you attended, it could even be, your shoe. Yeah, these are real world objects. So you could model them in a class so that you can be able to use them in your programs. That's your mobile application programs, okay? And I want to see if I can get another example of a real world object that we can model. Okay, for those of you who use the airports, you could even write an airport class, okay, which tells you the color, tells you the shape, tells you what model, which year, okay? All of those, you could model them in a class, okay? And this is how we're able to write, applications that work in real life, because we think of objects, okay? We think of real world objects as a class, okay? So if you take a car, for example, let's say Toyota Yaris, or any car, in fact, you could write public class, let's say Toyota Yaris. What is the color of the car? Then you say private string color into quotes, blue or white or anything. Okay. And you could also define the engine model, the chassis number of the car. Okay, I hope you're getting the picture now. I hope you're getting the picture. So you could also take your phone. I don't know, you guys, those of you who have Infinix phone or iPhone or a Techno phone, you could model a class. You could write a class in a software program to model that your Infinix phone. Okay. Like I said, don't worry. Once you start writing the application, you understand everything. Okay. So a class can also have properties and methods. Now, properties are basically the variables in this class. Remember when I told you about variables, which is private string name, private string color, private string memory, okay, private int age. Let me go back to that variable class for those of you who have forgotten. So this is the variable. Okay, so private string tells us that we'll only be storing string in this container or this variable. Variables are basically memory locations or containers. Okay, whichever way you decide to picture it. Yeah. Okay. So the variables are properties when it comes to classes. Okay. So when we say properties in class, just picture it as a variable that we write, okay, inside the class. And then methods, these are basically functions, we'll come to that. We'll come to that, okay? These are basically they are called functions or methods. Okay, what they do is that they perform certain operations. Okay, maybe they can even print out hello or say hello, how are you, or they perform actions with variables. Okay, or the properties within these classes. Don't worry about it. Like I said, once we start writing the program, you're going to understand everything. Okay, now what is mobile app development? Mobile app development, it simply means writing code or programming done on mobile devices, tablets, okay? So you see the code that we've been writing or the code that we'll be writing in this course, it's going to be a mobile development oriented code, okay? So it means we'll be programming for or writing codes for mobile devices, Android mobile devices, or even tablets, okay? For the for this tutorial or this course, we'll be writing solely Android apps. Okay, for your mobile devices, you see everything working. You see the application working on your Android device, either the real Android device or the emulator. Okay, now this involves building of mobile apps which are in turn installed on your mobile devices. Okay, I'm sure most of you know the Google Play Store. You go on there to download your apps like TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram. Okay, so these apps will be right and you will be running them on your phones, on your mobile device, and you see them working real life. Okay, or you can even run them on the emulator for those of you who do not have real mobile Android phones. Okay, so sample mobile apps can be seen on the Google Play Store or on the Apple Store for those of you who use iPhones. I would be making a tutorial on how to build iPhone mobile apps, but for the sole aim of this tutorial, for this course, this particular course, would be writing Android mobile apps because the market Android has a lot of users. Okay, example of mobile apps here, WhatsApp. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. Your WhatsApp, your Snapchat app, you have your Instagram app, you have the YouTube app, you even have your TikTok app. Yes, and so what are mobile platforms? Mobile platforms here simply means, are you developing for Android devices? That's those of you that use Android phones. Okay, you write code for Android phones so that those people who have Android devices can go onto the Play Store and download your app and use it, or install it from anywhere you've sent them to install it. You can even, when we start building it, I'll show you how to send, when you build the app, you send it to WhatsApp and to your friends, and the person can install it, okay, by just clicking on it on WhatsApp, okay. And so we have, there are two major platforms currently, and they are basically the Android platform, that's for Android devices, and then you have the iOS devices. So you have people using Android phones and Apple phones. Okay, so these are the two major platforms. We also have Windows mobile phone. I doubt if people are still using Windows mobile phone, because as we speak now, Microsoft is even looking to migrate to accommodating Android operating system. So you might start seeing certain Windows phone that run Android apps. Okay, yeah. So in this course series, we'll be developing just for Android mobile phones. Okay, we'll be developing just for Android mobile phones. Now the tools needed. Okay, what are the tools needed if you want to be an Android developer or even a software developer? There are basic tools you need to have. Okay, now the number one tool you need to have is a computer. Okay, it could be your laptop or your desktop computer. Okay, and when I talk about computer, let me mention this: the minimum specs for the computer you should have should be at least a 4 gig RAM. Okay, a 4 gig RAM. Okay, we don't want you to start complaining that, oh, your computer is freezing, meanwhile you're using a 1 gig or even 2 gig spec computer. Okay, so you should have at least a HP or a Dell computer of a minimum of 4 gig RAM. Okay, then you have your code editor. Now, what is a code editor? Like I said earlier on, a code editor is basically where you write your code. Okay, is a tool where you write your code. And in this tutorial, we'll be using an Android Studio. It's a code editor or integrated development environment. That is what this IDE stands for. Okay, integrated development environment. You can Google it or look it up and then get to understand what that means. Okay, but basically a code editor is where you write your code. Okay, yeah. So down to the next tool, you have your Java. I mentioned this before. You need to download Java to be able to run or write Android apps, because Java, it's more like an environment that's able to understand your Java programs and then convert them into the various instructions which you've instructed the computer, or yeah, your computer to execute. Remember, I told you a code is just a set of instructions. Okay, now Java, we're talking about the Java runtime environment, okay, which has the JDK and the JVM as well, the Java Virtual Machine. Okay, Android mobile phone or emulator. I've mentioned this before. You need the Android mobile phone because you want to be able to see how your program works. You want to see your program in action. So for those of you who don't have Android mobile devices or Android phone, you can also use an emulator. I will teach you or show you how to set these things up. Okay, I'll show you how to set these things up. Now down to the client server concept. Okay, I want you to pay attention to this because this is going to form a basis on the networking aspect of things. When I say networking, I mean how you're able to convey information from your application to the cloud and then get results back. So have a look at this picture, okay? Now, I know most of you are familiar with going onto your phone and typing www.facebook.com or even opening the Facebook app on your phone. Okay, so I'm using this mobile phone as an example, this smartphone. Let's say this is your Android device, okay, or even Instagram. Okay, now don't forget we're talking about client server concept. Now I want you to just focus on this client, okay? Focus on this client for now. In this picture, what is our client? Our client here is this smartphone, mobile device, or your Android phone, or your laptop, or your desktop computer, or PC. Okay, this is the client. Okay, this is the client. Okay, now what is the server? The server is it's on the cloud. When I say cloud, I don't mean the blue sky. It's these are concepts or terms used in software development. Okay, so this is more like a huge computer or a server. It's mostly called a server. It's still a computer. Okay, sitting somewhere. It could even be in another country. Okay, it could be in London. It could be in US. It could be anywhere. Okay, so what this server does is that it stores information or has another software program running on it. But I want to limit this example to your Instagram, okay? Now, you do know that when you go on your Instagram and you click the Instagram app and it opens, you start seeing feeds. Feeds, I mean videos, pictures where you can like the picture, comment, or even on a video. You know, most of you are familiar with these terms. Now, what happens here is that the moment you open the Instagram app, okay, what that app does is that it makes a request to a server sitting somewhere. Instagram as a company has a server, okay? Instagram as a company has a server sitting somewhere. Now, I do not know which country the server is sitting on, okay? It could be in the US, it could even be in Africa, it could be in London or India, okay? But I just want you to have this picture in your mind, okay? So when you open the Instagram app, what the app does is that it makes a request. It tells the Instagram server here, hey, Instagram, I'm here. Give me all the feeds, all the videos for the people that I'm following. Okay. You know those people you follow on your Instagram app? Yeah. So your Instagram app makes a request and say, hey, Instagram server, give me the feeds, all the feeds you have. And then the server says, okay, it gets all the feeds. Okay, that, let's say your name, the person using the phone, let's say your name is John. Okay, let's say your name is John. So your Instagram app says, hey, Instagram server, I am John. Give me the feeds or the videos and the pictures of all the people that I follow. And then the server says, okay, John, it gets all of those information. I mean, the videos and the pictures of the people that you follow on Instagram, and it sends it back to you. Okay, when it sends it back to this app, you now begin to see the pictures, the videos. Now you can comment and like and do all sorts of things. Okay, so again, the client server concept. Okay, I just want you to get this picture, okay, of what I'm saying. I just want you to understand. You have a client here, which could be your phone, it could be your laptop, it could be your desktop. It makes a request to a server sitting somewhere. In this case, we used Instagram as an example. Okay. Now it says, hey, Instagram, my name is John. Okay. You signed up to the Instagram app as, let's say, at John or at at James. Okay, John at James, or at, you guys know your username on Instagram. Now it says, hey, I am at James, Instagram server. Give me the list of all the people that I'm following. And then the Instagram server says, okay, James. It goes, looks for all those pictures and the videos and sends it to you. And then you're able to see those pictures and you can like, you can share, you can comment, So basically what the client server concept means is that you have a client somewhere, which could be a mobile phone, a desktop, which makes a request, okay, to a server sitting somewhere. And the server says, hey, what are you requesting for? Okay, pictures, images, and it sends it back. Now, let me also use a the Facebook application or the Facebook app as an example. Most of you know Facebook. You use the Facebook app, okay? Let's assume this is your smartphone. You click on you click on your Facebook app on your mobile device. Say it opens. It says, "Hey, Facebook server." This time is Facebook server. Remember, initially we were talking about Instagram, but now Facebook. It says, "Hey, Facebook server. I am John. My username is John on Facebook. Give me the list of information on of all the feeds on Facebook, all the people that I follow, or my friend list on Facebook." And then it says, okay, hey, James or John, okay, here are the feeds. And then it sends it back to your phone, and you're able to see all those feeds that you comment on, all those pictures, all those people's posts on Facebook that you comment on, you like, you share. Okay. Let me use TikTok too as another example, okay? So the client server model, remember the client server model, okay? So TikTok has a server sitting somewhere, and this is your mobile device. You've downloaded the TikTok app, and then you click on the TikTok app and the TikTok say, hey, the TikTok app makes a request to the TikTok server somewhere. It could be in Los Angeles, it could be in Lagos, it could be in Kenya, it could be anywhere, okay? Okay, so it says, hey, TikTok server, my name is John. Give me the list of all the people that I'm following, or all the feeds you've got for me today or in the past times, okay? And then the TikTok server says, okay, John, here are the pictures and the videos on TikTok, okay? And then it sends this TikTok server sends it back to the TikTok app in your mobile phone, okay? And then you're able to see those funny TikTok videos and the challenges. I hope you guys get this concept, okay? Like I said, don't worry. Once we start implementing everything, you would get the hang of it. But just picture and remember this thing I told you. You have a client somewhere, which could be your computer, it could be your mobile phone. Since we are dealing with mobile development, we'll talk about mobile phone here, okay? This mobile phone, which is the client, makes a request to server seated somewhere for an information, and then this server gathers those information and sends it back to you, okay? Let me also make this example with the Twitter app. I know a lot of you are on Twitter, okay? So this same thing happens on Twitter. You click the Twitter app on your phone. The Twitter app makes a request to the Twitter server somewhere and says, hey, Twitter, my name is at James. I need the tweets for all the people that I follow on Twitter. And the Twitter server says, okay, James, I'm looking for them. Let me get them. It takes the information and then sends it back on your Twitter app, and you begin to see those Twitter feeds. Okay. All right, guys. So let's go to the next thing, which is the motivation and word of advice. This is the last slide for us, and then we'll go into the main aspect of this course, which is writing the actual codes, okay, and building an app. I'll be showing you the app we'll be building, okay, so that you'll be able to get a hang of, have an idea of what we'll be building, okay. So first things first, I would like to tell you that, first of all, nobody is a perfect programmer, okay? We always use resources like Google. Sometimes you get stuck when you're writing the code and you have to go to Google and look for information. And I'll show you guys where to look for this information on how to solve challenges. The second one is that programming is not difficult. I want you guys to get that off your chest. I know you've seen this type of code and you say, oh, this is too much. No, it's not too much, okay? one thing I want you to focus on is to try to understand how things work. You don't need to memorize this thing. Do not cram this. Don't memorize this thing, okay? Don't memorize it, okay? I'm going to show you people how to program. Okay, this is guaranteed transfer of knowledge from my years of experience in writing programs. Okay, you do not need to cram this thing. You don't. You don't need to memorize it. You just need to know what to do at certain times. And then you can even go to Google and look it up and then see how to, refresh your memory on how to do it. Okay, for example, oh, how do I write a class? Okay, I have to write public class, the name of the class, and then you define your properties or the variables here, and you have your methods. You see, these are the methods. Okay, so that being said, first things first, nobody is a perfect programmer. Okay, everyone makes mistakes, including myself. You do not need to memorize everything. Programming is not difficult. Okay, and then you need to be able to practice. Okay, you need to get yourself glued. You need to practice. And by the time we are done with this course, you should be able to have another app in mind. Maybe you want to build, hey, maybe I want to build a shopping app for my auntie's supermarket or for my auntie's shop or something. Okay, so that being said, guys, this brings us to the end of this first slide presentation. In the next slide, I'll be showing you, in the next video, I'll be showing you guys the application, the mobile application that I'll be building. Okay, and stay tuned. Okay,